Hare Krishna. Constancy of purpose often necessitates change of strategy. India used to dominate world hockey about half a century ago. But and at that time, India Indian players relied primarily on their skill and artistry to to trump their opponents. But once hockey shifted to artificial turf, to astroturf, then it became a game more of speed and power than of skill and artistry. And because Indians couldn't cope with this new reality of hockey, the new way in which hockey was being played, the Indians soon descended from supremacy to mediocrity in hockey. So this historical example demonstrates that actually the purpose may be the same to win in hockey, but if the circumstances change, if the surface changes, then strategies that may be required will be different. So this principle that change of circumstances calls for change of strategy even when the purpose remains unchanged, that applies even to spiritual life also. Ultimately, the purpose of sharing spiritual knowledge and sharing the knowledge about spiritual life, or how to practice spiritual life, the purpose of that is to help people connect with Krishna, the supreme spiritual reality, to help them act in a way, live and act in a way by which they can come closer to Krishna. Now, for this purpose, at different times, different activities may be required. Now, Arjuna at the start of the Bhagavad-gita had primarily two conceptions of paths to spiritual growth. One was the path of action, which involved karmic entanglement, although of a less incriminating nature, and if it done piously, it could elevate one to higher realms of existence, although these were also material. That is the path of action and that karma. And then he also had an alternative, the path of renunciation, which he felt was superior and which would enable one to become disentangled faster. So he was oscillating between which to choose, action or renunciation. Now Arjuna at that time was poised to play a decisive role in a war that was going to define the world's dharmic condition, and as it was indispensable for him, critical for him to do his duty, and accordingly, to get that purpose of the establishment of dharma done, Krishna told Arjuna about a third mode of functioning, neither action nor renunciation of action, but renunciation in action. That means to act with a detached mood. And Krishna told this is far more preferable for Arjuna's good as well as for the world's good. In 5.6 he states, Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptama yogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena digacchati. He says that those who act with detachment and those who renounce artificially, they sometimes become miserable, but those who act with detachment, they happily advance towards liberation. So Krishna talks about this further in 5.11 when he states, Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. So with all our resources we act, Kayena with the body, manasa mind, buddhya intelligence, kevalairindrayairapi even with the senses, yoginah karma kurvanti. The yogis act, but for what purpose? Sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. They give up their attachment and they act for self-purification. Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. So in this way, by acting for Krishna's for purification, we can all move towards liberation. And Krishna recommended Arjuna perform such action. So now this detached mode of action is what is required in today's world. And although because of science and technology, externally today's world, so the situation is radically different from that in previous ages. So today modern bhakti practitioners, to have the same constant purpose of sharing knowledge of Krishna and providing facilities for people to come closer to Krishna. But for that they may use a change of strategy. That is, instead of telling people to go to the forest to renounce the world. Because there are very few people who are ready to do that. Actually, the wisdom of the scripture is brought home, is brought to people, not just very easily, but on their homes and in their phones, by using technology, by using internet, by using social media. And the purpose of this remains the same. That is to bring Krishna closer to people and bring people closer to Krishna. And this way, the change strategy of using technology and fruits and other facilities of modern society for bringing people to closer to Krishna helps in maintaining the constant purpose of elevating individual and global consciousness towards spiritual devotional consciousness. Thank you. Hare Krishna.